Hey guys, Drew Kirby here with American Hard Enduro. Been way too long since we've done a podcast, but we're here with a guy we normally talk to in the spring before one of the hardest races in the USA, Robert Mohn with the Reading Off-Road Riders. Rob, how are you?
Reading off-road. You do that on purpose.
Not me. Reading Off-Road Riders. Better?
Yeah, that's better. Now say Tamaqua.
Tamaqua.
Yeah, you got that one right too.
Yeah.
That's
So,
not where the
Rob,
race is, though. It's at a different spot.
So that's what we're here to talk about. You guys are putting on another race. It's going to be the final race of the East Coast Series. They just had the Mad Moose up in Michigan. I don't know if you've seen any of the videos. Man, it looked beautiful. The leaves had turned. Looked like great racing.
Yeah, absolutely. We went to that event probably the first year they had it, however long ago that was, 5-6 years. And yeah, it was awesome. It's a haul to get up there, but that was a really cool event. And I saw what is it? What's the name of Flynn's buddy who does the video?
Oh, Endurotainment.
Endurotainment, yeah, that's what it is.
What are you trying to think of? Funtainment?
Yeah, I saw his race recap, and entertaining as always. And yeah, it looked like it was a good race. Looked like they passed each other. The top four looked like they were passing each other, every 100 yards.
It's what they said. The top five were together for the first 3 laps, I think they said. And then Quinn, I saw an interview with him. I guess there was not too many horribly hard spots, to kind of let people get away, which is good and bad. He always wants it harder. And so his race definitely had several hard spots. That was for sure. So, anyway.
Not for you. You just went right up them. No problem. You and like 2 other people.
3 of us together with a toe strap. I had a strap in my Camelback. I always carry one. And, there was 3 spots we had to help each other, which I'm not a huge fan of, but because we got in a line, when I got there, I waited 30 minutes for A guys because it's only a pro A race. And I was waiting like 30 minutes to get guys out, till we could even get to the hill. And so once you kind of got set in that group, that's kind of where we all finished because, by the time we helped each other up, that the 3 guys in front of us were gone.
So would you rather have the race like that, or would you rather have the spots not be so difficult that you don't have a 20-minute bottleneck? Or I guess it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
To me, the problem was it was one line, and it wasn't like a rock garden where you could take a little harder line to get around somebody. It was literally, there was one way to get up it, and you'd pull your bike up, push, the 3 of you would get one bike up, go get another bike and do that. And there was just no other way. It was so steep, and luckily it was dry, which I think made it even maybe harder. But if it was really wet, it would have been impossible. But it was just like dry slick, and it was crumbling. And so like on the off cameras, like we kind of went up a hill, and then we had to cross not diagonally, like straight across the really steep part, and you would just slide down. And so it took, someone holding the front of the bike, someone holding the rear of the bike, and a guy pushing the bike.
Yeah.
So like I said, there was 3 of those, and even talking to Ashburn, they rode it the first lap, and then they had help pretty much the other 2. I think they did 2. Maybe they did. I don't know. Anyway, so like I said, I'd rather have it where you can figure a way out to do it yourself. Might lose you time, might gain you time, but literally it was single file, pull in, wait, and it was nice because there wasn't people going everywhere to just make ways around it. It was that bad you couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So,
well, it gives an old guy like you a little chance to catch his breath again, huh?
It was too much. I mean, literally 30 to 40 minutes just sitting there waiting. And like Stephen Edmondson rode 40A with me. And so we got to the first of the 3 bad ones. And I got there before him, probably waited 5 or 10 minutes, did a couple things to my bike. He pulled up. He's like, "What are we doing?" I was like, "Man, there's 4 guys on the hill." And so once they got out of the way, him and I started it. And he got to a point where he could be pulled out before I did. We tried it probably 4 or 5 times each. And literally, I didn't see him till the next bottleneck. And then I was 4 riders behind him. And then didn't see him till the next bottleneck. 4 riders behind him. And then he beat me by that. So wasn't really anywhere to make up stuff. But, oh, well. Again, it is what it is. If it had been wet, who knows? So, according to your son, I did catch him on that bad hill that I flipped my bike down. But him and another guy helped each other up, and I didn't know it was them, or I would have stopped being an idiot on the other side and actually tried to get up it a little quicker. But no, it's all good. It's fun. So the bad news, I told you right before you hit record and you were giving me a hard time, but I told you to stop talking. I'm unfortunately not coming to your race. It was on the schedule. I was going to come up Saturday, race Sunday, come back Monday, but I've got a kid in swim and a kid in soccer, and they're in 2 different places. And my wife said, I can't be 2 places at once, so you're staying. So
that's what your parents are for, or her parents, or
I know.
Get your third child to take him to the swim meet. He's probably not doing anything. He's laying on the couch with his knee up.
Well, he was coming with me. It was the plan. It was me, him, and Chad was the plan. He said, "Well, if y'all are going, I'll go with you. I don't have anything else to do." So
yeah.
But anyway, unfortunately, I'm not going to be there. So you said you didn't have much to say, but let's talk about this. Different property, not the RORR coal pits. How far away from RORR and Tamaqua?
They're different coal pits. It's about 45 minutes west of Tamaqua. It's right outside of a little town called Good Spring, and it is going to be similar terrain. It is coal mine area, and I just basically wanted to let people know that it's going to be a different event from Tough Leg Roar. Like we put that event on, especially the main event, to try to challenge the pro guys, and especially the elite pro guys. And, I feel like there's a lot of people like yourself, or, people with a little lesser skill that are still incredible riders, that don't make it too far around the course. And we wanted to put on a race, more for your average, hard enduro guy, trying to bring some more people into the sport. We talked to a bunch of people where we're having the event. It's an open riding area that you pay a yearly fee to ride, and they don't come to our race. They're like, oh, it's too tough, it's too hard. And hopefully we can get them to come to this race. It's going to be a little tamer for your BNC riders. Now, that being said, if you're a pro guy or an A guy, don't think it's going to be super easy. We do have 4 splits throughout the course loop. One lap's going to be about 14 miles. We have 4 splits, and like each split, it's not like it's just like one option. It's not like it's one hill or one little tiny rock garden. Like the first split's about 3/4 of a mile long, and there's numerous hard, rock garden sections, and a pretty good rocky hill climb, to go up. And I hear people say, one of the problems that when there are splits is the top guys then start getting behind your B and C riders, and then when the course merges back together, then they're behind them. Well, the B and C split is going to be just as long as the Pro A split, and it's just going to be slightly easier. So I feel like the speed of like a pro guy through the A section and a B guy through the B section, I feel like it's going to be pretty similar. Like I don't think you're going to lose a ton of time if you're a pro guy, to the slower riders and get behind them. That will happen possibly later in the lap. The next split isn't until about 8 miles in, but we're also doing starting everybody like 5 riders a row every minute. So, the B and C guys, the pros and the A's are gonna have a pretty big head start, on your B and C guys as well.
Okay, so let's back up. The last few races, or the one I did, so that was Quinn's race, and I think the next one were 2 race formats. So like BC race in the morning, Pro A race in the afternoon, or a day apart.
Yes.
You guys it's gonna be like a standard, almost like a SEER race. Everyone one race, starting pros in the front, all the way back to your C riders.
Correct. Yes, it's just one race. The race starts at 10 o'clock on Sunday, and it's going to be 4 hours long. 4 hours for the last row. So if we have 5 people all in a row, we have, just say we have 150 riders, we have 30 rows. So for the last guy, he'll get 4 hours, which will be a 4.5-hour race. But everything is time adjusted, and each guy is going to have 4 hours to get to as many checks as they can.
Okay, so there will be checks, obviously.
Yes, we're going to have at least 5 checks along the course. One lap's about 14 miles. We're going to have a check at each of the beginning of the splits, and then there's going to be a check somewhere else out along the course. So five checks, and we're not sure. Talking to US Hard Enduro and Josh, they seem to it seems like the top guys, they want to know a set number of laps as opposed to, hey, we're racing for 4 hours. They want to know, we're doing 2 laps or 3 laps. So we haven't quite figured that out yet because we've never had a race here before. I'm not sure how long it's going to take, your best guy to do a lap. I'm guessing an hour and 10, an hour and 15 minutes, something like that. So I'm not sure if it's going to be a 2 lap race or a 3 lap race for the
Okay.
top guys, but then everyone will have at least 4 hours to get as far as they can.
Okay. Well, that was a great point about the splits because I was thinking back to one of the races. I think it was the one in Ohio, Fallen Timbers. We're up on kind of a high line around one of those bluffs, and the A split literally went down, turned around, and probably a 5-minute little climb, and all the B and C guys just, right, they just kept going, and we joined them within 30 feet of where we left, but it also took us 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that, especially on the first one to kind of keep it spread out, and the starting five riders to a row and spread out like that should help as well.
I feel the same way. And like I said, now the second and third split are going to be very similar to what you just described at Ohio. But again, they're 8 miles or so into the lap, and I feel like your top guys are going to be able to distance themselves from the majority of BNC guys because it is very technical trail. It's not going to be trail that's going to stop you, but it's not like it's hare scramble trail. It's really tight. It's really rocky. It's some average steepness hills with a bunch of lines, and guys like yourself or any of the other top pros aren't going to have too much of a trouble navigating the course until they get to some of the splits. The splits I think will be a challenge, but again, they're not going to stop you. They're just going to slow you down a little bit.
Well, I heard it was going to be a hard hare scrambles. The rumors I was getting with 2 splits, and they were both easy. So, I'm glad we've doubled the number of splits, and it's not just going to be a trail ride. That's good to hear. Now that I'm not coming, I can talk all the crap I want.
You'll show up. You'll show up.
Oh, I wish I could. Like I said, we literally had that talk this morning. We just got back from fall break over the weekend.
I'm going to text Lee as soon as I get off the phone with you. Get off this podcast with you.
Yeah. Good luck. You don't have her number, hopefully. Maybe you do. I don't know.
Of course I do. We talk all the time, Drew. She doesn't tell you everything.
No, everything. So, all right. So there was one important piece of information about parking that we talked about earlier. So let's get that out of the way so people don't miss that.
Yes. So parking isn't going to be ideal. It's going to be very similar to how it is at Tough Like RORR. We're going to be parking along a wide dirt road. And, like if you're bringing, a big rig and a big camper, the parking lot fills up so fast. So the gate isn't even opening on Saturday until 2:00 in the afternoon. If you get on site Saturday morning at 8:00, we're not letting you in. No one is going to be there to let you through the gate until 2:00 in the afternoon. Plus, there's no track walk. We're not allowing people to walk around, before the race starts to check out the course. So there's no reason for you to get there early. Like downsize everything if you can. Bring a buddy. Just come in the morning. The race doesn't start until 10:00. Just to try to lessen the parking situation. I feel like we can accommodate some bigger rigs, but if everybody brings something big, it's going to be extremely tight. So we do have a spot if you're bringing a big rig and things get full. We're going to have like an auxiliary parking area about a half a mile down the road that you can park at. But we're just trying to get people to downsize a little bit, bring a buddy, stay at a hotel or just show up in the morning, something like that.
All right. Well, did Matt Adams get a hold of you of Champion Brick Racing? He asked me for your number earlier. I immediately thought to what you said about parking. I was like, because he brings a good sized fifth wheel, but he's got like 4 guys riding for him. So.
Well, that's the thing. We talked for a while, and I said, Matt, I don't have a problem with that. Like you're bringing 6. It's you and 5 other riders. Even if 6 people come, say they double up in a van or a truck, well, you're still taking up the same amount of room. It's the guys that come with their 3 kids and their family and their dog, and they bring a 35-foot fifth wheel and set out awnings and everything else, that we're not too keen on, and hoping that that they can do something else that weekend. But yes, I talked to Matt. We talked for a good half an hour.
Well,
And
hey,
I'm like,
the views of Robert Mohn are not the views of American Hard Enduro. We love you to bring your family and your kids and your dog because it's a family sport. So maybe for this one race, leave them at home because of
exactly
parking.
that just this one race.
Yeah. So, all right. So parking, we got parking out of the way. 14-mile course, 2 or 3 laps, just depending. 5 checkpoints. You said terrain similar. I've seen some videos. Looked like there's some creeks, that looked more. They were not RORR looking, or tough like RORR looking. What is there? Some different terrain?
There is 2 creeks on the property. You're going to be in both of them. The first one you're going to be in at the start, probably in and out of it a few times in the first probably 2 miles or so. Nothing, nothing serious. Uh, and then one of the splits for the pros and the A's is going to be in the other creek on the property. And there's a pretty good rocky bank to come up out of, and then a big rocky kind of diversion ditch that you're going to be in, erosion ditch that you're going to be in for probably almost 200 yards, at a slight incline. That ought to make things somewhat interesting. So yes, tough like where we don't have any water, any flowing water, on the property. There,
Truth.
other than I guess Confusion Falls, but that's the only spot. But yes, here you're going to be in the creek in the beginning of the lap, and then if you're a pro or an A, in the fourth split, you're going to be in a creek as well.
So is it gotten near the big, I don't know, pits that RORR has with the big spines, or is it, again, trying to get a visual in my head of what the guys are, let them know what we're in for.
It's more along the lines of Sugarloaf's property.
Okay.
It's like it's a long kind of flat area, like along the bottom, and then it just gradually goes up the side of a mountain.
Okay.
Like the property is long, but not real wide. The race probably encompasses probably only about 2 miles long and probably only about a half a mile wide, maybe a little bit more than that. But it's very similar to, like I said, Sugarloaf with the rocky hillsides. No, there's not a lot of. There's a couple small ravines, but nothing like there is at Tough Like RORR.
Is it like existing trail you guys have just tied in and out of, or for a lot of fresh stuff, or?
No, the whole thing is we started pretty much from zero.
Okay.
There was a couple trails in there, but most of them weren't that difficult, and we pretty much cut 14 miles of trail in the past year to put on this event. Now, some of it has been found by the Dominican
locals?
community in the Ralph Creek area, and they've
Okay.
been riding some of it. But the majority of it has not been found, and the majority of it is going to be fresh cut single track that very few people have been on.
Okay, so of the 14 miles in the Pro A splits, how much has Robert Mohn ridden?
I've ridden everything except for 2 of the pro splits.
Okay. How is it? Did you do it? Did you ride it or did you push it?
No, I rode it, but I have to stop pretty often. I get pretty tired pretty quick.
That's fair enough. What tire were you using while running it? We're not on the equilibrium anymore, are we?
No. Actually, I used that for the dual sport, which was this weekend. But
Okay.
no, I was on a VE33 with a fairly soft bib, not as soft as what you would like, but fairly soft.
How'd that do? Was because I hate it on any kind of rocks. Like it'll dig like crazy, but it looks at a rock and you're spinning. It seems like.
I don't know. I don't think it's that bad. But again, I'm not the caliber rider that you are and notice that thing. So I just get tired right away.
And did you make your son's mistake and buy a VE33, not a VE33S?
Drew, come on.
He's
Drew,
so excited.
What do you think, Drew?
He was so excited. He found the deal of a lifetime until he got it, realized it was not the S. Hey, this is also your son who booked a hotel room in a different city than he was going and didn't realize it till he was en route. So
are we just turning this into a J Mohn podcast? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. Hey, well, he's not here to defend himself. He probably won't listen to it, so we might as well bash him while we're at it.
Sure, let's. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, so he would love the playful
James Franklin
banter.
goes to Clemson. That's all I got to say.
Oh God, I was like, what are we talking about? But yeah, Jarrett's a big Clemson fan, and apparently
Yes.
James Franklin went from Vanderbilt to Penn State, then he got fired recently. So I
Yeah,
don't
so
care
I'm
about
hoping he
football.
ends up at Clemson. That'll make
Listen,
Jared happy.
no, we're not doing golf and we're not doing football, so move on. So, well, any idea who else coming? I mean, I see it looks like Conboy's been hitting them all. James Flynn, Quinn Wenzel, Tobin Miller, Danny Lewis coming out of nowhere, almost got
Yeah.
second at the Fallen Timbers race. I guess he'd been kind of sick and then ended up second place over the weekend.
Yeah, I would assume all of those guys would probably come. Now I do know the first Enduro Cross is the same weekend. I don't know
Oh,
how many of them guys are doing that stuff. I think more along the top guys are doing that, but the guys that are
okay.
following the regional rounds that they've had of late, I would expect all of them to be there. Sign up has been really light. I don't know if it's just because we don't have a cap on it, and they're just the regional rounds don't draw as many people and you don't have to worry about it. That being said, it is cheaper if you sign up before October 20th. You're going to save yourself $20. After
Okay.
October 20th, it's going to be $150 to enter. And I wanted to try to keep the cost down. I know my kid always complained about why is entry fee so high, and man, it's putting on an event is tough, till like we don't own the property, so obviously the landowner, has to get something, and
Mm-hmm.
the price of insurance has skyrocketed, and US Hard Enduro does so much for the sport and has elevated the sport so much, but it comes at a price as well. They take a pretty good chunk of each rider's fee, and they make it mandatory that they have a certain size purse, which we're only having a $5,000 purse. That was the minimum. And you look at it on paper and it's like, well, geez, we got to charge $130 and hopefully we'll break even. That's just
Well,
the world we live in nowadays.
and does that what US Hard Enduro takes that covers like the videography, the promotion, scoring. So I mean that does cover a decent amount of
Oh yeah,
things that comes off y'all.
that's not a complaint on our part. It's just a fact,
Yeah.
more than anything. Again, they've elevated the sport so much in the past few years, with their involvement, uh, making things more even across the board and, less problems and it's money that we don't mind spending, but it's still, we got to come up with that revenue somewhere. And where do you come up
Yep.
with it? You got to charge the rider. That's the
Yeah.
only way around it.
Well, and it's like we've talked about with everyone. No one likes to pay more, but then everything costs more now. And in Sear, they were looking at the reason they're not having races is they were going to have to charge over $100, and they said we're not going to do it. And so now we don't have a Sear series. So I mean, it stinks, but honestly, it's part of it. We got $10,000 motorcycles and $150 tires, and it's just if you want to race and compete, it's part of it.
What kind of tire have you been using?
Dunlop, the
Okay.
91. So
Oh yeah, that is like $150 tire, huh?
Yeah. If you don't have a connection, it is.
Yeah.
So
if you're not
luckily,
through Kirby.
yeah, luckily we can get them a little cheaper. I would like to get them more cheaper, but it's still over $100, and they just like everything else, they just went up again.
Yeah.
So
Do you get more than one? I guess you don't get more than one ride out of them, huh? Or one race.
Oh yeah. I actually just flipped one around. I'm going to ride tomorrow. Ashburn's coming over. And so we're going to go do some playing tomorrow. And he asked me how long I had to ride. And I told him, he goes, dude, I can't ride for 3 hours. I'm kind of wrecked. I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, yesterday was not fun.
GNCC in it, huh?
Yeah. So I guess he had a rough day yesterday, he said. So he said it was not enjoyable. And I said, it didn't look fun, but honestly, none of them look fun.
No, I totally agree. Jared and I took him to numerous of those events, and I never saw what the allure was other than the circus-like atmosphere provided by the pro pits and everything else. But can you talk Jordan into coming up to our race?
No, I think he is done with hard enduros for a while. If
is that his doing or
no, I think there's as everybody knows, there's changes in the market, and Gas is going away, so he will not be on Gas next year. He'll be on a different team who doesn't make a 4-stroke or doesn't make a 2-stroke. So he that's going to be the thing. So that's one reason we went to Quinn's races. He's like, man, I really want to do another race before I'm kind of don't have a factory bike to do it on.
Doesn't stop Johnny Walker.
I'm not going to, until things are announced, I'm not saying anything, but I know there's talk of building him a 250F to play around on.
Cool.
So I think it'll be cool. So hopefully he could, I mean, honestly, I think you could do TKO. Jarrett and I were talking about this earlier, or maybe it was Will. You could do it on a 4-stroke, I think.
Yeah.
So, so what else, Rob? Your event, what's the name of it? Cold Cracker, Cracker Smacker? It's something weird.
Cold Cracker Smacker.
Okay.
It's funny, the U.S. Enduro guys, Matt's like, he was nervous. He thought that was going to offend somebody.
I literally read it and I was like, I don't think that's bad, but kind of sounds bad.
No, it's not bad. It's a term of endearment in Schuylkill County.
Well, yeah, in the Skook. Let's see. So it is the last round, I guess. So then they'll be giving awards out for East Regional titles. And is Josh coming? He's been at the other ones I've seen.
Yes. Yeah, he's coming. He'll be there.
Okay, cool. I know, like I said, I saw him at Quinn's race. Wasn't expecting to see him.
He'll be there cracking the whip, making sure we do everything right.
Yeah. Making sure the rider. Well, and I think it is nice having another set of eyes on the course if the guys aren't if they're not going to pre-walk it, which if they pre-walk it, they'll just complain or move stuff.
Nah, you riders don't move stuff.
No,
that's a rule. You're not allowed to do that. So,
well, if you're stepping on a rock and it rolls out from under you, what do? You're standing on it with both feet and pushing really hard. It just fell over. So, all right, Rob. Well, unfortunately, I won't be there. What do we got? 2 weeks, so we're a couple weeks away. What'd you say? October 20th. So you got 7 more days.
October 20th for sign up. Yeah, the cheaper price. Correct.
So you got 7 days to get the cheaper price, and I guess that's it. 26 minutes. You said we didn't have anything to talk about. Look, we made it last.
All right, sounds good.
All right, Rob. Talk to you later.
See you in a couple weeks. You'll be there.
Good luck. All right, see you guys.
See you, Drew.